Hey guys and ladies, welcome to another live stream. So this is actually a random live stream, completely random, which is how I like to kind of do my live streams and videos. I like to just kind of fly by the seat of my pants, and if I feel like doing a comparison video like yesterday I did with Macassar between the vintage and the modern, I can do so. If welcome Rich, huzzah indeed, my friend. If I feel like doing a live stream, I can. If I feel like doing a list, this is not a top 10, I can. If I feel like doing a review, I can. I like to be free. I like to have freedom in how I go about my fragrance videos and days and wearing and all this good stuff. But I realized just recently that these new Amouages are coming, and they're coming fast. So I've been sitting on this sample set for, I don't know, maybe like a month, it feels like. This Amouage sample set of all 4 of the new Amouages for 2023. Man, I'll tell you just right off of the bat, without even, I have not sprayed these yet. So these are going to be like live. These are going to be almost like the blind sniffing videos, except the difference is I know the fragrances. That's the only difference, but I've never smelled them. They're true first impressions. But the chap who shall remain anonymous and does not want to be named, so his identity shall remain secret, or her identity shall remain secret, has sprayed these, so I can actually smell fragrance coming off of the set. Okay, and all I smell is ISOE Super and ambery woody materials just from without spraying it. So my expectations on these are about as low as they can get. So if there's anything that comes good out of this, I'll be extremely happy. So these are apparently the new Amouages for 2023. But let's do scent of the day. It is a random Wednesday, so I am in my work clothes. And so I bet you can smell. Hey, Benji, welcome, brother. Mr. Nestorov, great last name, by the way. Dimitri, that's a cool way to spell Dimitri, too. R-I-J-E. Nice. That's good stuff, man. What are you guys wearing today? Drop your scent of the day. I will tell you, I am wearing an absolute unicorn gem. So back-to-back 2 amazing fragrances. Yesterday was Rochas Macassar, which I hope you guys enjoyed that comparison video. I was extremely happy with the more modern reformulation. And there was, someone who I do trust who left a comment in the chat kind of confirming that. But today I wore this. This is Chanel's Egoïste, but the Cologne Concentrée version. And my God. Okay, so let me just tell you guys, before I even get into this, I heard from people that say stuff like, oh, these people talk about, oh my gosh, it's the Cologne Concentrée. It's the greatest version of Chanel Egoïste, and oh, I have to have 30 bottles, and they're like, bullshit, it's just Egoïste, And while it is just Egoïste, let me tell you something. I went into this thinking, okay, this is just going to be Egoïste. But the way Rich Mitch described this is perfect. He said it's Egoïste, but it's just more. And it is. It's just more. It's more of everything that you love about Egoïste in, a bottle. That's what it is. If it was 2023 and they released this today, this would be Egoïste Eau de Parfum Extreme Intense Attar, Extrait. It would be something along those lines. They would charge $800 a bottle. But it's just fantastic, man. It's one of the best sandalwood fragrances I've smelled, period. I don't care if it's, I'm not just saying that because it's rare and hard to get. It is unbelievable. I went in thinking, okay, it's just going to be Egoïste. So I have 2 different versions of Egoïste. I have the silver sprayer vintage version of Egoïste, and I have the modern version with the black sprayer. So what we're going to do one day, not today, even though it is my scent of the day, and it is glorious, man, but we are going to compare, and just without even, you know, looking at anything else other than the color of the juice, look at this. Now, to be fair, this is an amazing fragrance, the modern Egoïste. I think Egoïste is amazing in any format, but you know, this is good. This is mind-blowing. I was sitting at work today just loving myself. I mean, and this is like a 10-hour dry down here. This is like a 6-hour dry down. I reapplied around lunch. Oh, it's just so good. I mean, even on the 6-hour dry down, it stays true to Egoïste. One of the best sandalwoods. I love that, you know, rosewood. It's just amazing. It's amazing fragrance. I love the vintage carnation. I love the leathery sandalwood tobacco. Oh, I'm in love with that Egoïste Cologne Concentrée, man. So comparison video coming up at some point. Guidance off that. It's so, you're talking about guidance. Yeah, one particular. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Is that your favorite, Benji? Have you smelled them all? If you have, I would love to know what your thoughts are down below. The OG from the late 80s. Hats off to you if I had a hat. Magnum. I love Fendi Uomo, man. It's my favorite Fendi. Omani dry down with a twist. Probably, man. You're probably right. Triade. There is a fragrance that does not get enough love. I will talk about that because I think I have a little discovery atomizer, so that will get some love on Channel Ram one day. Sarah Jessica Parker Stash, eh? That's a discontinued fragrance. What do you make of it? I like it. I quite like it for a cheapie. I think I got this from fragrancebuy.ca sometime within the last year, definitely in 2022, maybe even the last 3 or 4 months. And for a cheapie, if you can find this for 35 bucks or whatever it was, like I got it for, grab it. But don't go pay hundreds for it because it's discontinued. But if you get like a good deal, a cheapie deal, I'd say go for it. It's a good fragrance. One of the better just celebrity fragrances, Sarah Jessica Parker Stash. And it comes with this cool little bag, a stash bag. Apparently, Sarah Jessica Parker is a big frag head, which I never knew that, but apparently she is. People tell me that she is, so I'll believe them until proven otherwise. Greetings from Munich. Greetings, my friend. Hope you're staying warm. Oud Yusuf, never smelled it, but if it's an Ensar, it's probably good. I mean, he doesn't make bad stuff. He just has never made anything that's like moved me to, you know, want to run out, whip out my wallet and spend $1,000, you know? Yes, Epic Woman is fantastic. I did a comparison video with the OG, the Eau de Parfum. And honestly, I love them both. I really liked both of them, but Epic 56 just wouldn't move me to buy a bottle when I have, you know, this is an older bottle anyway. This is back when it was Oman Perfumery LLC. I don't know if you can see that right there. Oman Perfumery LLC. So it was before the SAOC days. So even though it's a magnetic cap, it's an older bottle. So I cherish this 100 ml. I'm so glad I got 100 ml of Epic Woman because it is amazing. But I haven't tried Honor 43. I haven't tried Reflection 45. And I haven't tried Interlude 53 yet. Yes, it is. It is one of the best pickups for me as well of 2022. I don't know if I did a best. I don't know if I did a best pickups of. I didn't rank them, but I did a video on my favorite pickups of 22. So this stuff's amazing. If you can find it, it's starting to get really hard to find, and the people that have it know what they have. But man, I mean, if you're a sandalwood lover, you can't get much better than Egoïste Cologne Concentrée. Escada Porom. You guys are all rocking Ram's favorites. Fendi Uomo, Escada Porom, Stash. I can't put Stash in my favorites, but it is a discontinued fragrance that's good. Honestly, if you're asking me straight up, if I had this version first and I had no clue what Egoïste smelled like, would I run out and buy a bottle of regular Egoïste? No, I don't think I would. I think I would just cherish every goddamn drop of this stuff. I mean, if you bought Egoïste, you would still appreciate it. Like, you know, even this new version that they put out is good. It's a good fragrance. I mean, Chanel does not make bad fragrances anyways. I don't think I've ever smelled a Chanel that I thought was just intrinsically bad. Now, maybe bad for my particular taste. Like, for example, I'm not the biggest fan of, you know, that Eau Extreme Chanel. What's it called? I have a decant of it, Allure Homme Sport Eau Extreme or something like that. That's this weird musky thing, this white musky thing, you know, that granted in the heat, it does smell really good in the heat, but it's just not it's not my style, you know what I mean? But if I had a bottle of Egoïste Cologne Concentrée, would I then go buy a bottle of regular Egoïste? Probably not, but I'm going to do a comparison video. And look at the juice color between the new one and the Cologne Concentrate. Almost like two different fragrances. And there's some air in this bottle. So don't be like, oh, you got to get air in the bottle and it changes colors. I mean, so yeah, man. This is my favorite version of Egoïste that I've smelled. I like this more even than the vintage silver atomizer. There's something slightly off-putting about that silver atomizer version, the vintage that Amouage sent me. I don't know if it was a part because it's a partial. I don't know if just it sat around too long or what, but there's something slightly that kind of puts me off for a little bit. And then once it settles down, it's beautiful. But yes, Happy New Year, Rachel. Happy New Year, Dushan. You're right. It is not ever just. It's a great fragrance. Not my favorite Chanel, but it would sit behind. Well, I think I ranked my Chanels for you guys. I don't think I had this when I ranked them though. But I can't remember. Too many videos. But it's gonna sit behind the two top dogs for me of Chanel, which are always gonna be Antaeus and Quitterusi. And how whether you want to throw Antaeus Sport in there as a different fragrance or not. They took real sandalwood out of Egoïste after 2005. Okay, I didn't know the exact date, but yes, yeah. If that's true, Dimitri, I mean the older bottles. I know this came out a couple years after regular Egoïste, so this came out in 1992, and I think it was only around a couple years, and that's the reason why these Cologne Concentré bottles are so sought after. Is it was kind of a way for Chanel to recoup some of the losses that they had on Egoïste, because remember they spent like $50 million on marketing this bad boy. The rants are coming. Well, we're going to do some blind sniffing. You guys, I asked, and you guys said you love the live stream, so I'm doing the live streams, and we're gonna do some first impressions on these new Amouages. So. And you guys know I'm an Amouage fanboy from way back when. I'm not a fan of the direction that they're going. And I'll tell you what else I'm not a fan of. Without even smelling the fragrances, forget about the fact I said I can smell nothing but woody ambers and, you know, ISOE Super just radiating off of this, off of this little sample package. Is I am not a fan of the colors of the bottles and the caps. I know I'm being grumpy old Ram. But the color, if you go to Parfumo, you can see the new bottles, or go to Amouage.com. They've released the new bottles, and they're not good. I'll tell you that right now. They're kind of ugly, actually. They're very ugly. I don't like the color coordination that they're going with these. It reminds me of the way Meander and Enclave look. Do you guys remember those? Meander and Enclave, two fragrances that were good fragrances, but not Amouages to me. And it looks like these bottles are kind of going in the same direction as the way Enclave and Meander look. Just the color scheme, the aesthetically looking at them. Guidance is like this creamy pink with an even lighter pink cap, and Lineage is like baby vomit green, you know, teal mixed with teal, and this same creamy pink cap. They couldn't even bother to change that weird creamy pink cap from Guidance. And then Purpose is this like strange hunter green, but maybe darkened up a bit. And Search is the worst of all. It's like this baby blue teal thing. I don't know how to even describe some of these colors, but they're just weird, you know. They're just I don't know what the fish guy's doing. I don't know what his plan is with Amouage, but I like Purpose quite a lot, and I bet you would I bet that would be your favorite of the four. Okay, so interestingly enough, Benji, you are the second person that's now told me that. So now I'm starting to feel some pressure because I went into this with zero expectations. But now that you're the second person that's told me Purpose would be my favorite, that's the one by Quentin Bisch, right? Let's see. Yeah, Quentin Bisch is the perfumer of Purpose. He's becoming quite a star, isn't he? Quentin Bisch is becoming quite a star. Roger Bird, eh? Roger Bird's Amber Oud. Very nice, Mike. You got your 2023 notebook of jokes out and ready to go? Don't slack on us. We need you. Guidance is very, very Quentin Bisch. So basically the least Amouage scent possible. Really? So that's the one you said I was smelling just right off of the bat, eh? I was going to do that one first, but now I'm kind of scared. Is that going to, let me roll my sleeves up. Let's get this party started while we're chatting. You all have all smelled these. Am I the only one who hasn't smelled these yet? All right, let's see if my shirt button would unbutton. All right, here we go. Let's get some skin. Let's show some skin. You got to put these bad boys on skin. No tester strips for RAM. This is a skin-only channel. If I can get to the skin. All right, the skin is exposed. All right, let's catch up on some comments, and then we'll do a first spray. That's an interesting take, Mike. I never thought of that, but now that you mention it, it does have that. I don't get the straight pickliness from it, or it's not as sharp, maybe, but I know what you mean. Opus 5. That's a beautiful one. That's a beautiful one, Cuba. What did they name it? Wood Symphony or Symphony Woods or something? Thank you, Dushan. That's very kind. Interestingly enough, Amouage found me. So Amouage found me a mini of the Eau de Parfum. You can barely see it, but it says it right there. And I've got the Eau de Toilette. So speaking of comparison videos to come, so I've got like 4 comparison videos in the wings. Escada EDP, Escada Pour Homme EDP versus the Eau de Toilette, which I love. Chanel Egoïste Cologne Concentrée versus the new Egoïste with the black cap versus the Egoïste with the silver atomizer. That'll be a triple comparison video. And then what else? There were a couple. Oh, Derby. So I've got Vintage Derby versus Thierry Vassar's 2005 reinterpretation of Derby, which I think it's a fantastic reinterpretation of. And I think there was one more comparison video that was waiting in the wings. There's 4. There's 4 that are like lined up in my head, ready to go. Now that Macassar is knocked out from yesterday. And I was pleasantly surprised. Thanks and shout out to Rich Mitch for sharing a precious few drops of his vintage Macassar. My fave, Amouage Beach Hut Man. Man, Beach Hut Man is a beast of a fragrance. That's one of the strongest fragrances I've ever smelled. That stuff lasts on me forever. And I like to wear it in the heat because I like wearing my green scents in the heat. Santal Noir is not similar to Egoïste to me, Damon. I would say Santal Noir probably took its cues more from so I would say Santal Noir kind of borrowed cues more from this. This is Santal Majuscule by Serge Luton. This came out couple years before Santal Noir. And if you get a chance to smell Santal Majuscule, this is the reason I don't have a full bottle of Santal Noir. It feels like Francois Demachy took this kind of DNA and added some of that Dior ambrette, which, to be fair, Dior has amazing ambrette. I really like the way that Dior uses that note, that ambrette note. You'll find it in different versions of Dior Homme, and it really does mix with the iris beautifully. And I think it was kind of started with Annick Minardo in the year before Dior Homme came out. She came out with oh gosh, I can't even think right now. What's the fragrance she came out with the year before Dior Homme? For Dior, it was Bois d'Argent. And that has some of that iris, ambrette, myrrh, and frankincense and stuff like that blended in there. And so I like what he did with Santal Noir. I don't hate it, but I wouldn't grab a bottle personally. Ah, you getting it. Excellent. That's amazing. So he reached out to me and he said, thank you for sending people to me still. And I said, of course, man, I trust you. You'll do well. So let me know what you think. I'd love for you to report back and let me know what you make of it. Yeah, no pickle smell for me either. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of blue scents either. I own one blue fragrance, and what I decided to go with was I thought it was right here. Where is it? There we go. Yeah, this is what I went with. I went with the Parfum version of Sauvage, and I just think it's a little bit more grown up. I mean, they all just smell the same to me. Every time I smell one of these types of fragrances, like today, walking to work, so I'm probably just radiating Egoïste Cologne Concentrée because it is strong. And so I had just applied it. You know, I only have like a 20-minute drive to work, so I had just applied it before I left the house. And so I'm probably just radiating Egoïste Cologne Concentrée. And this guy walks past me, and all I smell is Sauvage. I mean, just a wall. It was probably the EDT, because the EDT just has this huge throw that just lasts forever and projects for miles, you know. And so, and every time I smell Sauvage or Bleu de Chanel or something like that, I'm always just like, oh, you know, it's not that it smells bad. It's just so played out to me. It's like, you know, it's just eye roll for me. I don't like it. Tobacco Oud, beautiful, Antonio. Let's catch up on the comments, and then we'll do the. It definitely has more depth, and it definitely is stronger. Yes, that creamier sandalwood feels heavier. It just has more. You know, Rich Mitchell's way to describe it is perfect. It's just more. It's just more. Just more of everything you love in Egoïste, it feels like. Hey, Kevin. Thanks for joining, brother. That is what was written in one of the perfume books recently that I read. The Ghost Perfumer. He brought it up in here. And I think that's true. I think Chanel is basically, you know, that's been admitted. Multiple people have talked about that. That's it was basically the biggest flop as far as sales go. So I don't think it's a rumor. I think it's true, James. Unless someone knows differently. Again, I'm not an insider. I'm just some dude in Texas that loves fragrances. So baby colored bottles. That's it, man. They look like stuff that a little, like, you know, that a child would create. Light pink and baby blue, and I'm not a fan. And even Purpose is probably the most manly of the colors. And instead of going with the true hunter green, they like cut it, you know, with some this lighter off-colored hunter green. Not a fan. They don't, do they? It seems like they've lost a, you know, I just miss the old bottles. Even these see-through bottles, like you don't need, I mean, that's gorgeous. And look at the dent I put in this. This is Seal Man, by the way. But even with the, you know, jewel being a little bit different, the Swarovski crystal, I mean, they didn't have to go and color every single bottle. But yes, I agree. They've lost some of the shine has worn off of the polish has worn off of Amouage. Perriel's Cologne for Men, beautiful. Someone left a comment yesterday on the Macassar comparison video that I did and said they get a little bit of Perry Ellis Cologne in there. What do you think about that, Paroli? Have you spelled Macassar? Yes, the comparisons are coming. There's more comparisons to come, Roger. Roger Graves, not Roger Bird. Maybe we'll do a comparison between Guerlain's Heritage and Roja's Danger, since Danger just blatantly copied Heritage shamelessly. Rich, much love, brother. Roger Graves was the name you just came up with. What do you make of that, Dushan? Let me know. I know you're a huge Duchafour lover. I know about the Vagabond Prince, but I can't say I know anything about the Vagabond Prince Swan Princess. So let me know what you make of that one. Fruit de Sheen by Les Indemodables. Don't get much queer in it. Seems like a straight up fruity osmanthus, very refined fruity frag. That's the reason I don't own it. I like my queers to be queer. You know, I like them to have some queer in them. I like my leathers harsh and animalic. And I heard Queer de Sheen was missing that. I do not have the eau de toilette of Ma Liberté, but I did a video on Patel Peron where I basically used up Patel Peron Privé, where I basically used up the precious few drops of that fragrance that someone sent to me. And ever since then, I've been looking for a full bottle, but I don't want to pay the price that the guy that I know who has a full bottle is willing to sell it to me at. I would love a partial. If anyone has a partial of Patel Peron Privé, reach out to the Ram. Yes, his duckness is almost back. His feathers are pruned and ready to go. It is a difficult thing to accept. Yes, that's right. 50 million bucks on marketing. I mean, everyone remembers the commercials, right? With the girls opening the windows and yelling, "Egoïste, Egoïste." And I think Egoïste basically meant egotistical. So that's a pretty brave thing to name a fragrance. Egotistical is like you're kind of full of yourself. Love to hear what you think of Polo Green after 2019. Oh, someone mentioned that the other day. Someone mentioned that the other day. Justin. I'm sorry. That's right. Justin. whenever you said Justin, I was like, oh, good. Well, nice to meet you, mate. Now I know who it is. It's the Justin. Yes, you were mentioning that the other day about the newer versions of Polo Green being very good. I've never smelled them, but I've heard a couple people say the new ones are good. Blue Beanie, welcome. Yeah, after 2019, he's saying they're really good. It is in the works. Let's put it that way. That may be something I'm going to hold off for, I don't know, a special occasion. Maybe 3,000 subscribers, say. Maybe when we get to 3,000 subs. I think we'll be there faster than I think. I have not smelled number 3, but I did smell number 2, and I could see what you mean as far as like being something different from anything else you've ever smelled. I think number 1 is the one that people say that I would love, that many people say that I would love. They refine themselves. Yes, that's good to hear. I mean, that's great news then, because that means you can go buy it with confidence. But for me, Polo Green is so much about that pine and oak moss and tobacco. I have a hard time accepting that a modern in 2019 with IFRA's, you know, with just the shackles being on these companies, that they could recreate it. But I'm always open-minded to try, man, especially if somebody that I know recommends something. Oh, that's good stuff, James. Yes, I'm jealous of that bottle, by the way. I mean, I'm very happy because I have 100 mils of vintage juice. It's in the Listerine bottle from the 90s, and I don't think there was a reformulation between the 80s and 90s. But the bottle itself, Rich Mitch said today, he thinks he's maybe a bottle collector instead of a fragrance collector. The bottle of that Derby bottle in the Eagle bottle, the 200 mil, is just, I mean, it's almost drool worthy. It's so beautiful. Maybe one of the most jealous fragrances that's not in my collection. I'm glad to have vintage Derby, but I wish I had it in the Eagle bottle. Okay, it's good to know. I think you're the second person that's now said that, so it must be true. Yeah, I did a video on it, Mike. I don't know if you remember, but I didn't like the opening as much. I thought it was a little bit too sweet. Shockingly, I could tell the ingredients that Antoine Lee used were very, very good, and I like the fragrance, but I mean, it. I wouldn't buy a full bottle of it. I'll tell you which Les Indemodables I will buy a full bottle of, or I want a full bottle of, and that is Oriental Velours. Man, the myrrh and spruce combination in that is just glorious. That is one of the, I think that's my favorite Les Indemodables, and right behind it would be Ambre Supreme. The ambergris in that is unbelievable. You think Les Indemodables are overpriced and overhyped, Gonzalo? I trust your nose, but I haven't smelled them all either. But the ones that I have 10 ml decants of, I quite like. Okay, good to know. Good to know, Justin. Yes, they do. And you know what I noticed in the vintage, if you watched my video, Pearly, is the vintage had more spice in the top. And in the top of Perry Ellis Cologne for Men, the vintage, you get a big cuminy, spicy hit right to start for the first half hour or so. So oh God, could you imagine if anything happened to that bottle, man? Oh, what a nightmare. Do not pick that up by the cap. I like my queers to be queer. I like my leathers to be leather. Um, Wild Leather by Mancera, dude. I'm just gonna tell you right now, Mancera is not my cup of tea. I own Actually, I own a vintage Mancera. I'll sell to someone for $500. It's Mancera Cedrat Boisé. Probably one of the worst fragrances in my collection. But if you ever just want to wear something that is easy to wear, it's just so plasticky and it's not the vintage magnetic cap, it's the screw cap. So if anyone wants to pay me $500, I do have a bottle of Cedrat Boisé for sale, a vintage with only a few sprays missing. Look, I'll go buy that Patin Pour Privé that I've been eyeing. Yeah, I mean, Mancera is just not my thing, Damon. No offense, it's just not. It's not Ram territory. Yeah, Vanilla Van is like the one that I feel like they put out because they needed sales. You know what I mean? Like they knew that they had to have like a big seller, and for winter it does work. It's more mass appealing than you think. 388,000. 388,000. Their ambergris frag is amazing. Ombre Supreme is amazing for sure. Killian Angel Share is way too sweet for me. I have a bottle. Don't ask me why. I do have a bottle. So I will, one day I'll do a review of it, but God, I have a hard time even spraying it. The sweetness is just like, I mean, for me, it's hard. It's hard to take. I don't like sweetness anyways, but that's just over the top. Don't ask me why I own it. Ooh, dude. I mean, that question like hurts my heart because you're asking if there's an alternative to vintage of basically two of the greatest fragrances of all time. Nah, man. The only way you're gonna get the true enjoyment out of those fragrances is to buy the correct version and just enjoy it. You're gonna spend money on it. You're gonna spend money. You're not gonna find those for cheap unless you're just the luckiest person in the world. I've seen vintage Cuir de Russie bottles go for $700, $800, $900. That Antonio guy that you got from Italy. Italy is a hotbed of vintages. And the Antonio guy you bought that Bellamy from, he sold me this. This is 1960s Eau de Cologne of Cuir de Russie. And the florals in this are surprisingly, you will find, let's say there's a bridge between the florals used from vintage Chanel's, like the way that Ernst Beau used the florals in, say, number 5. But then what's so amazing about this, and it has that Chanel pop, that aldehydic Chanel pop, is it just blends with the dirtiness in a way I can't even describe. I mean, I can't even describe this fragrance. I've only worn it to bed. I haven't had the temerity to give it a full wear yet. Maybe I'll wear it tomorrow as my scent of the day and really try to break it down further. But this is unbelievable. The Eau de Toilette from the 80s is a little less floral to start. It focuses a little bit more on the animalic aspects and the leather. And I say animalic aspects and the leather because there's animalic aspects, there's the leather in there, and there's also this animalic leather vibe. So it feels like there's multiple facets that can give you, different feelings when you wear Cuir de Russie. But I mean, and the florals in this, I can almost guarantee you are different than the florals in the less exclusives version, is my guess. I've never smelled the Eau de Toilette or Eau de Parfum of the less exclusives, but the civet in this, it feels like there's civet in this as well, which is a different animalic feel than the Eau de Toilette from the 80s or 90s version that Rich Mitch and I have in the taller bottle. It's under lock and key, so I can't just turn around and show you. But man, is there a Uh, you know, is there a alternative to one of the greatest leathers of all time? No, unfortunately not. You're just gonna have to you're gonna have to buckle up, save your pennies for a bit. I mean, you're in touch with someone who could find it for you, though. That's the good news. Is, you know, the person I got you in touch with is legit, and you know, if you're looking for these rarities, you're barking up the right tree. It's just a matter of saving your money, waiting till you find one. You know, vintage Bellamy is one of the best. I mean, you have one of the best leathers of all time. You have my favorite leather of all time on the way, basically. Um, so, by the way, I do have to apologize if my mic goes crazy. You know, this is not you're not at Channel Ram for high tech. You're not going to get graphics. You're not going to get anything like that. It's just me hitting play on my phone and rambling about perfume. So if the mic ever goes funky, give it a couple minutes, make a joke, and it'll be back to normal in no time. Yep. Yep. Agreed. Yep. Ombre Supreme is amazing. EO3 is my favorite. Okay. I'll put it on the list, man. EO1 and EO3 are ones that I really want to smell. And, you know, I'm not necessarily knocking the brand, but I kind of am, because on one hand, you have someone like Russian Adam who, you know, with the Riche Doré, you can tell he cares about bringing that type of perfumery to the masses easily. All he has to do is put up new fragrances, and people like us are going to scramble to go buy it. But Russian Adam feels like he's more focused on trying to bring it to the average person as well. Like, he wants it to be more accessible. Whereas Ensar is going the opposite direction. He's making it almost less accessible on purpose and saying, well, it's a luxury purchase. And if you don't, you know, you only spend $2,500 on a perfume one time. And so, you know, treat yourself. It's a treat. And if you can't afford it, well, my perfumes are for you, you know. And he's kind of gone the opposite direction. And I have to respect Russian Adam. You know, we were talking a little bit about this, but that's a strategy that Francois Coty took when he turned Coty into one of the biggest companies in the world. You know, in the 1940s, or maybe it was the 30s, I can't remember, but there was one decade where Francois Coty was in the top 5 richest people on earth, and he did it by making perfume accessible. Like he said, putting it in a pretty bottle, giving it a good story, and it'll kind of sell itself. And of course, making the fragrance amazing, because he was a great perfumer, one of the best. So yeah, I mean, it's an interesting dichotomy. Do I want to give Ensar $1,000, or do I want to get, you know, a $300 fragrance from Russian Adam that, for me, kind of does the same thing? I don't get much more. So that's the issue I have with them, Jad. But I know I've said that before, so it is absolutely beautiful, stunning, like breaking into a, you know, 60s bottle of Dom Perignon or something. You know, it just feels like it just feels special. I'd love to have a bottle one day. Yeah, I know what you mean. I get that. I do. Their iris, I'm not as impressed with. The iris is probably my least favorite one. I mean, it's still good. It's just, it's my least favorite. English leather black. That's right. You said that, Justin. English leather black. It's on the list. It's on the list. It's just the list is long, man. Yes, I have a so I have a, what do I have? I have a eau de toilette of Amanita, and you're right, it is fantastic. The eau de toilette came out in the 80s. This is like the 80s reformulation. It's been long discontinued, though, but I've never smelled the original Amanita, and I've never smelled the current eau de parfum that they offer either. I would love to smell both. But I can tell you the eau de toilette is stunning. Stunning. The florals, the amberiness, that vanillic, almondy, Play-Doh feel. It's an amazing fragrance. I love it. the tobacco. It's just, it's one of those fragrances that if you're a guy, don't be afraid that it's marketed towards women. Oh, yes, that's right. No, good point, Mike V. Yeah, just go buy African leather. Forget about Quentin. I've heard some YouTubers say African leather's a masterpiece. So, yeah, just go buy that. Commodity vetiver. I have never tried a commodity fragrance, Cuba. Never. Mike V is turning it up to 11 on troll mode in 2023. Yura, welcome. Welcome, everybody. All right, I guess we should spray an Amouage. It's 45 minutes of ranting and raving, although I've had fun. Let's get one of these on my skin. Let's start with this. God. Should I start with guidance? I'm almost scared. Let's save guidance for the end, since I heard that was the beast mode one. Let's save guidance for the end. I was going to do it first, and I just randomly picked these. So I was going to do it first. Let's do search first. Yeah, let's do search first. We'll switch this around. We'll do the guys, the ones that come in the guys bottles first. We'll do search and purpose first. And we'll save guidance for last since it's supposed to be such a beast. All right, let's get some of this new Amouage on my skin, shall we? So let's do search. Search is by Alexis Grugeon. This is unisex, lemon, lime, mandarin, orange. Omani green frankincense, black pepper, elemi, cade, vetiver, and gaiac wood. All right, let's let that settle down. This is opening up like a Rich Mitch nightmare. Just lemon abounds. Wow, that's lemony. It's sweet lemony, though. It's not necessarily bitter lemony. It's not like those Bortnikov colognes that I did a live stream on. Dude, don't even mention those on Mercari. Just keep that to yourself, because if a bottle ever pops up for a couple $100 on Mercari, I want one. So don't let the world know. I want it to be between me and you, James, on who's going to get that bottle. Oh, it's good stuff, Donnie. You know, you're up there, by the way, Donnie, as far as the comedians on the channel. You and Mike V are battling for the top spot. You really become a dark horse on the comedian side of things. What do you think about Gucci Envy? I've never seen you talking about. I have a bottle of Gucci Envy Pour Homme, and I love it. It's actually one of my favorite Gucci's, and you know, I've got this little partial here, and that's all I have. It's a Scannon bottle. Yeah, it's a Scannon bottle. But yeah, I love it. I absolutely love the frankincense, and what did they use? Like they used that. They used what was with Envy? It was frankincense and of course now it's not loading. What goes with sushi? What do you put with sushi? My brain just died on me. Ginger. There's that gingery frankincense, and it's peppery, and I love it. I love Gucci Envy for men. I wish I had a backup, but they're so expensive. Is it worth $350? I don't know. I think I paid like $100 for this. and it was, you know, close to that little line right here. So I haven't used much of it since I got it, but I can tell you I love it. Yeah, it's fantastic, man. One of the best designers, probably one of the best Gucci's of all time. All right, so let's talk about search. So after the lemon, lime, and mandarin orange, you get Omani green, frankincense, black pepper, elemi, K juniper, vetiver, and gaiac wood. So K juniper, I think, is supposed to add this freshness to it. That's what you put in, like, that's what you Sprighten up gin with, I guess, or you know, you'll see it with gin. And there is a little bit of that feel. So imagine imagine you get this like fizzy, lemony. Frankincense is kind of more, you know, the frankincense feels like I'm not getting as much frankincense and I'm getting more elemi. It reminds me kind of the way that if you've ever smelled Beloved Man, the way that the frankincense elemi combination worked here, but they list green frankincense. And interestingly enough, there is a little bit of a green, there is a little bit of a green twist to it. I like it. I don't hate it. Does it feel like an Amouage? It feels too designer. You know what it feels like? This is what it feels like. It feels like if Amouage tried to make a designer fragrance. That's a great way to describe Search. Search feels like Amouage does designer. So the opening, maybe it's because of that black pepper. I don't know, but there's something that's very, I don't know, accepting about this. There's something not remarkable, you know. It's just kind of, it's very wearable, extremely wearable, though, I'll tell you that. I'm wondering if the vetiver is going to come out more in the dry down and make it a little bit more, you know, masculine, I guess. I mean, this could be worn by anybody. This is completely genderless to me. Maybe because there's a little bit of pepper, they put it in the masculine side. Maybe because there's a little bit of vetiver. I'm wondering if the gaiac wood's going to turn kind of smoky. Sometimes gaiac wood will give off that barbecue wood feel. Sydney Rock Pool by Rodrigo's Flores. I've never smelled it. Actually, I still have yet to smell an Arquiste, Rachel, if you can believe that. Ginger, that's it. That's the word that I was looking for. I need to scroll down the comments. Amazing ginger with the frankincense and leather, and I love Gucci Envy Pour Homme. I wish I had more. I mean, I wear the piss out. I would wear the piss out of this. This could easily be a signature scent if I had one. Love Arquiste, but I haven't smelled that one. I haven't smelled the brand yet, so I need to get on it. Just got the exclusive Atars. Nice. Let us know what you think, Ajay. Those sound amazing, by the way. Oh, Justin. I would say no. I would say no. I would say go for Bellamy Vetiver if you're going to buy the new one. Just my opinion. Okay. But if you can find either of the older versions, the first bottle in the shaker bottle, or even the first reformulation that comes more in the, you know, it kind of looks like a bottle with more rounded edges, and it has like a silvery cap. You know, the first reformulation, I would go for those two. Are they good? Are they good, Ajay? Still have not smelled that. What's that supposed to smell like, Bobby? Eau de Hermes. Oh man, it's one of my favorite. It's my favorite Edmund Rudnitska fragrance of all time. Of all time. Eau de Hermes, I think, is one of the most influential fragrances in fragrance, if that makes sense. So like perfumers who make fragrances, I think, look at Eau de Hermes like a grail, like an icon. I absolutely adore it. I have a vintage flacon. Speaking of like places to buy vintage perfume, I was talking about Italy. How about Japan? Japan gets almost no love, but I got this from Japan. Look at this. Look at the short ingredient list etched into the leather. It's amazing. I mean, it is it's one of my, I decanted it, so it's an empty bottle because I actually dropped it and cracked it. You can see right there the crack. I was worried it was going to get bigger. It didn't. I could have left it in here, but I cracked it. But you know, this is to me, it's Edmund Rudnitsky's, it's his best work, and and people put Edmund Rudnitsky as one of the best perfumers of all time. So take that information what you will, Alfonso. But I love Eau de Hermes. I would like another one of these actually, but they're expensive and hard to find. So yes. Yeah, I have a hard time with them too, Gene, to be honest with you. But the ambergris in the way Les Indemodables does ambergris, like Ombre Supreme, that I can take. I appreciate that much more. But can I wear Aqua de Jo? Hell no, absolutely not. Good night, Yura. Thanks for joining, man. One focuses on sharing the art, the other focuses on putting the best available in one composition. Yeah, but the thing is like, just because you stick a bunch of the best available materials in one composition doesn't make it a good composition to me. You know what I mean? Like, you could take the rose, you know, from the Sultan of Oman who passed away, his secret stash, and put it in there, and take the ambergris that you got off of the back of a narwhal whale and, you know, mix it all together. But if it's not done right, if they're, you know, if it's not blended properly, if the idea for the fragrance isn't good, you can't just put a bunch of materials in there and say, that's it. We put the highest quality ingredients in there. It doesn't always work out. You know, that's the thing. That's the difference, is you could have a much lower cost fragrance to produce, but the end result could be, you know, much bigger than the sum of its parts, is what I'm rambling about and trying to say. But that's just my 2 cents. So yeah, I mean, if it's cheap, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not going to get you to the grail leather that I talk about, you know. So recap on Search. It's good. I like it. Okay, Search is good. I don't know who Alexis Grugeon is. Let's see what else Alexis has done. Not very much. Alexis must be new. All of her fragrances are from 2018 to now. She did stuff I've never heard of. She did L'Homme in 2018 for Emmanuel Ungaro. She did, I've never heard of any of these, XXX Verdigris and XXX Cyprium. She did Ungaro Blue, Live Out Loud, Eau de Parfum. I haven't heard of any of this stuff that she's done. So Search by Amouage is definitely the biggest thing she's ever done. This will be the biggest thing she's done by far. And if I smelled this blindfolded, there's no way I would ever think this is an Amouage. No way. It just, you know, I mean, you could identify the frankincense in there, but you know what the quality, as far as like the quality of the frankincense goes, it's on par with something like this. Now, it doesn't smell like Zadig and Voltaire. This is him necessarily, but it seems like, because this also has this peppery frankincense. It seems like this has this peppery frankincense, but with some maybe some vetiver and cade oil or cade juniper, sorry, and stuff like that. So I I mean, maybe if you just wanted like an easy to wear fragrance, but why would you spend $350 on an easy to wear fragrance? I don't know. It's nice. Don't get me wrong. It's not that it's a bad fragrance. It's nice. It's compared to a Louis Vuitton I've never smelled. Oh, no, it isn't. Sorry. That's just what they say other people search for. It's not compared to anything yet. There is something slightly familiar about it, but I can't put my finger on what it is. I can't put my finger on what that familiarity is, what fragrance it is close to. But there is a familiarity about it, and it is definitely one of the most designer Amouages I've ever smelled. This smells like a designer. It doesn't smell like a niche. Hence why I've been giving Amouage such a hard time lately. And as an old Amouage fan who loves everything they did, I mean, everything from Dia, Gold, Silver, Imitation, I mean, go down the list. Interlude, Myths, Epic. I love all of the masculines. I'm falling in love with the feminine versions from the past too. I mentioned Epic Woman earlier. I mentioned Jubilation for Women is stunning, amazing. Chypre Duchamp turned me onto that. I had to buy a bottle. Lyric Man is amazing. It's just the path they're going on is a path that I just artistically I can't follow. Maybe it's good for sales. Maybe they're going to sell a shitload of search. Okay, maybe people are going to smell it and they're going to want to wear it and it's going to be a big hit. But for us frag heads, this is kind of a slap. It's a slap in the face. It's kind of a letdown because it says screw you guys. We're going to go find a new audience because we think we'll be able to make a little more money off of it. And if you don't like it, sorry, we've already got our money off of you, or we don't need you anymore. It's basically what he said on a live stream anyways one day. That's what this fragrance feels like. I mean, I know I'm absolutely annihilating them by saying it's a designer and then saying that it feels like Amouage doesn't care. And maybe because these are new fragrances, maybe this video will get a little bit more attention because I don't think anyone pays attention to what I have to say over in my corner. Most of the big houses like Amouage could give a shit because they send their free bottles out to the big reviewers who get 70,000 views of video, and so they just may not care about what the real frag heads think, but I can speak. I have been appointed for real frag heads, and I am telling you, Amouage, this is not what we want. It's not. It's way too. It's too. It's like the bottles. Like someone said earlier, they look like baby colors. It's very. It's a immature view of what an Amouage fragrance should be. So that's my take on search. Has anyone smelled this? Does anyone agree with me, by the way, while I have you guys in the chat? Bad lemons. That's right, Mitch. Bad lemons. Yes, thank you, Justin. Thank you for pointing that out. Since we were talking about Edmund Rudnitska with Eau de Hermes, Rochas Femme is another one. Just go buy it. Go buy it. I'm telling you, it's stunning. Rochas Femme is one of the best fragrances I've ever smelled. Yeah, the fish man strikes again. Now I was thinking of ginger. That's right, ginger. I'm catching up on comments here. Pepto-Bismol. How far behind the comments am I? That's a good point, Rachel. Well said. Rachel says there's a different type of frankincense in each one of these. Where do I find that information, Rachel? Because I don't see that on the. Let me see if I can find. So this was search. All right, let's see what Amouage has to say about it. Citruses within burning woods. It is at first a flash of lemon. Oh, it's lemon, all right. Insanely vibrant and bright and sweet, striking like lightning in the middle of the night. Fluttering notes of lime, fluttering notes of lime, lively and shrill, just how I like my lime, shrill. Soon come forth, welded into the metallic zing of mandarin, its leathery zest and bittersweet. Would you ever, in a million years, think of describing mandarin as leathery? Where are these people coming up with this shit? Shackled in a cage of dark woods, the citrus fight with a newfound strength. Oh, they're going fucking Braveheart on us now. Their light shining brighter as delicate notes of elemi and a heavenly touch of Hojari frankincense burst open. To be fair, Hojari frankincense is nice. And the frankincense in here is nice. Maybe it is a step above Zadig and Voltaire. This is him, but just a step. I mean, literally a step. Even as the smoke rises and crashes, smoke crashes now, in waves of burnt cade. Wait, is it cade oil or cade juniper? Because I think those are two different things. Spicy gaiac wood and incandescent vetiver. I need to memorize that word. That's a good way to describe vetiver. Incandescent. The citrus bouquet now carries its brilliance, proud, undefeated, and undimmed. A tale of trying and reaching, of life overcoming shade, of life overcoming shade. Do these people even speak English when they write this? Of life overcoming shade. Not light, life. Search captures the virile energy of resilient minds, unafraid to fight their inner darkness to become their ideal self. That may be the worst blurb. The worst. I've read some really bad blurbs, okay? That may be the worst blurb I've ever read. Ever, of all time. That takes the cake. Ooh, 350 bucks. I don't know, man. Tell them to do like 250. Elizabeth Taylor, Passion for Women. I have never smelled, but Jonathan, 1970, who I trust, loves it. Never smelled White Diamonds. Yeah, I can't do Mancera, man. Roche's Femme, Eau de Cologne, maybe the best pickup of the year. I woke up and I find it calling me to sniff. Yes, the Eau de Cologne's amazing, but you know what? My Parfum de Toilette is amazing as well. Yeah, the Parfum de Toilette is stunning. Yes, thank you, Rachel. I never self-promote, but do like the stream. We've only got one down and we're an hour in. So at this rate, it might be forever, but we'll get to the end. I can see that you have gotten over the cracked bottle. That must have been quite an event. I did. I was very torn, Terry. I had to decant it, but it's safe. It is safe. Beautiful. Very beautiful. Old Bellamy or the Vetiver. Yes, correct. That's right. That's right, Justin. Amouage Goldman, non-magnetic cap. Thoughts on that one? Absolute monster and best of the house for me. Are the new ones still timid and weak? I have a made in the United Kingdom version of gold, and I love it. However, I must admit, I have never smelled the friction cap. So I've never smelled the non-magnetic cap, but this is the made in the UK version, which basically Amouage once the fish guy took over Amouage, he brought all of the production back in-house. So there's no more made in UK and made in Oman. It's all made in Oman now. So I can't speak to the friction cap, the non-magnetic cap. I would love to smell it one day. Speaking of badass comparison videos to do, that would be a badass comparison video. I would love a bottle, honestly, but I enjoy this so much. I like my bottle of gold, man, that I don't think I would spend the money. You know, if someone sent me a decant or something, I would do a comparison video, but I don't think I would actually spend the money on the vintage. Mini bottles my dad had. Bellamy, Corm, Paco Sport. Paco Rabanne Sport is a good summer fragrance as well. Ted Lapidus. Is that Lapidus Pour Homme or Ted Lapidus from 78? Xerius, Sybaris, Businessman is amazing. No one talks about. Maxim's Pour Homme is amazing. Yeah, man. All amazing fragrances. That is a steal because there's rumors that it could be discontinued. So great job, Dushan. Congrats on that, by the way. Does Douglas recommend the modern Amouage Gold? €40, seriously. No, the price at discounters is way more than that. Good find, Dushan. Good find. Ooh, would not recommend the modern gold. So instead of Amouage putting out stuff like this, which they should, you know, I understand they have to put out new stuff to keep revenue going, but as a house who, to me, their past portfolio is just as important as the new stuff. If people can't rely on what, you know, the modern version of their old fragrances smell like, they're not going to want to buy the new stuff. So just hire me, Amouage. I'll be the new Christopher Chong. Make Ram the new Christopher Chong. I assure you, no EO comparison is gimmicky or poorly made. Well, I didn't say they were poorly made. I just said that pouring a shitload of, you know, rare and expensive ingredients in there does not just make it an instant, you know, the greatest fragrance of all time. That's just my take on it. If you go watch my fragrances on NSAR, every single one that I've smelled, I've said I've liked, but none of them moved me. You know, I was never moved that I need to go out and buy this. You know what I mean? I'm thinking maybe number 1 or number 3 will be that fragrance, but I've yet to find it. Actually, I lied. I did find it. There is one that moved me, but I just can't. I won't give him. I won't give him $1,000 because this is the Pure Parfum of Tiger Lust. I love the ouds in this. There's a tobacco flower note in here. Or coffee flower, sorry, coffee flower, not tobacco flower. There's a coffee flower note. The musks, the ouds, the animalic, there's castoreum and all the stuff I love in here. This is my NSAR that I love so far. Tiger Lust, but I won't pay those prices. You know, someone I knew had a bottle. He was trying to sell it for $999. And I was like, maybe if he gave me a discount, like maybe if he was like, "Hey man, here you go for $750," I'd have done it. But $999, like he didn't want to take a loss because that's what he paid. Ouch, that's a lot. That's a lot of money. Okay. So search is Alexis is a man. Thank you, Rachel. Appreciate that. They are terrible, aren't they? You know, they sound like they were like someone came up with them who doesn't speak English. You know, like search, purpose, lineage, guidance. I mean, terrible. Oh, you guys are killing me, man. Modern Antaeus is still good. Yes, it is. Owning the vintage, would I go buy the modern version? I don't know, man. I would probably hunt for a vintage because we're talking about one of my favorite fragrances of all time. So for me personally, it would be worth it to take that money instead of giving it to NSAR, give it to vintage, go buy a vintage bottle of Antaeus. But the modern version of Antaeus is still good. It's just different. Like all of that, you know, sometimes Castoreum can come across slightly metallic on the nose, and that animalic growl of the vintage Castoreum just isn't in the new stuff. It's just not there. Is it still a good fragrance? Yes. Chanel does not make bad perfumes, as I've said before. People are looking for designer level flags, probably never heard of Amouage. Yeah, that's one of the problems. So, all right, let's do one more here before we take an intermission. Let's do Purpose. So Purpose is probably done by one of the most sought after perfumers right now. Dude, even smelling this from the atomizer, I can tell it's a Quentin-Bisch. Purpose has this Purpose, it's that Akigala wood, man. Quentin-Bisch just fucking loves overdosing Akigala wood, doesn't he? All right, hang on. Let me spray this. Let me spray Purpose. All right, see what we get here. Right wrist this time. That is just that is just Quentin-Bisch through and through. I mean, it's Amouage's. If you like that style that he created, so if you have smelled some of his other works, like you know, the big hit in the fragrance community was Ganymede. If you smelled Ganymede and you have discovered that style that he's kind of now created for himself, and you have to give him props. I mean, it's turning a little bit more sweaty, which Rich Mitch would say he hates, because I know he hates that sweaty like smell. But the fragrance is turning slightly sweaty, which I don't actually mind, believe it or not. This may be too challenging for someone who likes Search. Search is going to be the easier to wear. It is getting slightly smoky now. I wonder if they meant Cade oil and not juniper, not Cade juniper, because it is getting slightly smoky in as it dries down. Or maybe it's just compared to Purpose, but Purpose is extremely modern. It has this, you know, like Ganymede has that futuristic vibe. Purpose has it too. Purpose has it as well. Let me read what Amouage has to say about Purpose. God, I hope it's better than what they had to say about fucking Search. That blurb almost pissed me off how bad it was. I mean, for a company the size of Amouage to write a blurb like that is just pathetic. All right, let's see what they have to say about Purpose. Oh God, Shamanic Awakening is the title. A brisk bergamot washes over you like a draft of glacier air. Who the fuck writes these? You feel the cold grip of pink pepper, the slight tingle of pimento berry, like pimento berry is just tickling your nutsack. The slight tingle. Who writes these? It just pisses me off. That is awful, by the way. This is an awful brief. A brisk bergamot washes over you like a draft of glacial air. You feel the cold grip of pink pepper, the slight tingle of pimento berry in your fingers, and a frankincense encapsulating your past and your future. A deep breath fills your lungs with the fierce and smoky scent of sand vetiver and of an animalic rose, whose weathered tobacco ascents tame the tension between an earthy papyrus and a silken touch of sandalwood. See, the problem is I love earthy papyrus notes. There's one in a Lalique, a flanker of Amouage, called Voyager. Very beautiful papyrus. And there's also one in a Javoy called Private Label. Beautiful papyrus, right? And the problem in the opening with this is that that accord that Quentin Bisch created, that futuristic metallic accord, just fills everything up. It's like you're in a space shuttle and it's all you can smell. So the sweatiness and that earthy papyrus and that silken touch of sandalwood, as they say, it's all in the background. It's all pushed to the back, you know. It you know, it's like you're in a spacesuit, and the air that's being pumped into your helmet to breathe is Akigala wood. And that's all you can smell. I mean, this is clearly a take on that DNA, and he's just milking it at this point. This is going to make him famous. This is going to make Quentin Bisch one of the most popular perfumers of our time. I don't necessarily like this style, but this is going to take off. This style he's created with Ganymede and some of the others, and now this is going to be like, you know, the next blue fragrance, I think. And good for him. I mean, good for him to you know, to make his own mark. All right, let's finish this nightmare of a brief. Yet this is Road's End, where the sun is always high and rays of aldehydic mystical suddenly spear through saffron and suede. Your leathery cloak of doubts to kindle a mist of Akigala wood. Your leathery cloak of doubts? What the fuck are they talking about? Shimmering like a swarm of fireflies. Clearly, a vertical totem of mineral woods and stellar sparks of spice. Purpose is a shamanic awakening, the scent of feeling at peace, of finding your roots, of feeling complete. Oh, I'm going to need an Advil after reading that. Yep, absolutely agree with that, Damon. Overture is one of the last great Amouages, I fear. Although, as much as I hate to hype up anything that the Fishman does at Amouage, Silver Oud is good. Okay, Silver Oud is good. Yeah, man, I agree with you, Jad. Maybe I will have to go the NSAR route. Probably on a website. I heard about this at an interview. Have you smelled current versions of Antaeus Ranch? Rich Mitch likes it. I can't say I remember exactly what it smells like, but I think I have smelled a current version of Amouage, but it was in passing, and it was at a department store in a mall when I was doing a million things. My daughter was running everywhere, and it was like on paper. So don't trust my nose there. The gift for Sheila. Maybe I need to be a shill. Maybe I'm being an idiot trying to tell you guys the truth. Maybe I need to be like, oh, yes, it's clearly mystical. And oh, yes, it definitely, yes, deep breaths, feel your lungs. Yes, yes. Yes, a slight tickle of pimento berry. Yes. Just, I don't know, maybe I just need to be a shill. Shite with shills. Man, they are going to miss Christopher Chong. I'm telling you. That is the biggest mistake they've ever made. Has been driving Musta Taif, Zamzam, and Civet Bomb are the ones I tried today. All of them are bangers. You can see deer musk grains settle on the bottom of the bottle of Musta Taif. That sounds amazing. That sounds amazing, Ajay. Congratulations, sir. I'm sorry, Rachel. I'm just not seeing it. I'm not seeing it right now for whatever it is. I mean, search is probably very wearable, but I wouldn't say it does a good job highlighting frankincense. And This new purpose, while I think it would be great with the people that like modern perfumes, I'm not really that big into modern perfumes. I'd much rather wear my vintage Macassar that I wore yesterday over this any day of the week. I'd rather wear my vintage Egoïste Cologne Concentrée. I mean, the joy this gave me versus the what the hell is this that I'm smelling now that I'm getting from Purpose. It's just way too much like Ganymede, way too much like Ganymede, and I enjoy. I appreciate it more than I enjoy it. I appreciate. Excuse me. I appreciate Ganymede, and to be fair, Purpose you can put that in the same category as Ganymede. Now, maybe it dries a little different. Maybe this smoky scent of sand vetiver and animalic rose and weathered tobacco and all this other shit they're talking about comes through later. But right now, all I get is that huge Ganymede like Akigala wood smell. And I think that's one of the issues with Akigala wood is if it's not dosed right, and Quentin Bisch likes to overdose it. Like Rich Mitch said, Bisch mode. He likes to Bisch mode his Akigala wood. It's loud. It's big. But if you like that, if that's your thing, if modern perfumes are your thing, you may really like Purpose. It's so Quentin Bisch, if that makes sense. And I don't think I could. I don't think I could own a bottle of this. I mean, that's just my initial take. Royal Tobacco is good. Yes, Royal Tobacco is good. I liked Silver Oud better, but if I had to put something that was done during the Fishman's era, you know, if I had to rank the fragrances made during the era of the Fishman, it would probably be Silver Oud, and then Royal Tobacco, and then maybe Boundless or something like that. So they can't have spent very much time on these. Oh, dude, you guys are asking some tough. I can't answer that. I can't answer that. That's like asking me to pick my favorite child. I can't answer that. Maybe you could do Overture in winter and sunshine in like spring or something. But yeah, man, that's a tough one. That is a tough one. Oh, it does. It does smell like that somebody on a bender wrote that. Protein powder and dates. That sounds amazing, Ajay. You know, you're making me angry that I'm doing videos on Amouage, which are not impressing me, and you're doing videos on Riche Ladore fragrances that sound absolutely amazing. I think we should switch. Alan, welcome, my friend. It's funny how they want to make every note sound extraordinary and special. So fake. No more Amouages for me. I'm happy with what I have too, dude. Honestly. And I'm very happy I got them when I got them, because some of the people complaining about Jubilation 25 and what's happened to it and the reformulations and all this stuff just make me glad that I got in when I did. You know, I feel like an investor or something, and I got in early. Yes, how dare you be late to the party? By the way, since you are here, and I know you're an oud lover, I'm going to tell you about a fragrance that I unboxed yesterday that I ended up really liking. This is Penombre. It's only a 15 mil, but it's from the house of Motif Olfactif, Mr. Oz's house. And he said he has a limited amount of this very hard to find, expensive oud. So he made these little 15 mil bottles, only like 55 bucks. And I wore this to bed last night. And if you're an oud lover, Alan, I think you would appreciate this. I don't know if you smelled this or not, but check this one out, my friend. I think you'll like it as an oud lover. I was a fan. I enjoyed it. All within your right. If you see no worth, don't bear the cost. I respect you for seeing the code. Yeah, man. I mean, that's what it's all about. The great thing about the fragrance world is there are so many different things, and everyone can play in their own little sandbox. There's enough for everyone. Even these vintage, hard to find, rare fragrances If that is your thing, and even if you're not the person that's going to go out there and drop $700 on a bottle, and you need to keep it in that 100 to 200 buck range, if you look long enough and you're committed long enough, you'll find it. You'll find it at a garage sale. You'll find it on, you know, eBay or Mercari or Etsy, or you'll find what you're looking for if you're looking and diligent and all that stuff. So the non-magnetic cap, yeah, it is. I'd love to try the non-magnetic gold one day. I'm sure he does. But I think also he's created this DNA for himself. Like I could almost tell this was I could tell this was a Quentin-Bisch or somebody emulating that style. So now, in full disclosure, it does feel like that Akigala wood is starting to maybe take a little bit of a backseat, but it's also giving me a little bit of a headache. It doesn't list the type of frankincense here, or does it? Quentin-Bisch, a madly gifted artist, at once painter, singer, writer, and perfumer, Quentin-Bisch is a genius of the trade whose talent lies in an unquenched thirst for beauty and his ability to reinvent his art through bold yet graceful statements. Oh, he likes making statements, huh? I thought he was a perfumer. Who is writing this shit? Seriously. I mean, if Amouage, if you are watching, even if you don't want to make your perfumes better, please fire whoever is writing this. Whoever you have writing these blurbs needs to go. And if that's a big company, fire them. I mean, we could do better writing this shit in our basements. Ganymede is amazing. I hear you, Julio. If that's your thing, man, it is amazing. It's just not mine. That I did a video on it. If you really want my thoughts, go check out my video. 100%. 100%. Bois Imperial. I don't think I've smelled that, man. What fragrance from the 90s, which I use this New Year's Eve, still sells one bottle every 5 minutes? Number 5? Thank you for sharing. I'm happy you're happy experience with your memory. I love it. It's a bliss. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Ajay. Agreed. What's happening, Rock? Rock City? Sounds like the old Penthouse letters magazine. Oh, yes. Mr. Salmon is never going to come to a Ramsey stream after all. No, I don't think he is, man. I really don't think he is. Yeah, I mean, what would we talk about? What? I mean, I could talk about how much I like Silver Oud and maybe how the 100 ml bottle doesn't smell like the decant I got from the 50 ml bottle yet, but maybe with some air in it, maybe he can tell me just let some air stay in your bottle, Ram, and it'll get to that 50 ml that you loved. You have me rolling. Yes, it does sound like Roja. Pimento, nutsack tickling. I don't know what to say, man. I don't know what to say. Ganymede, always unsolicited comps. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I get that. And I always take my compliments the same way. Like if someone gives me a negative comment, if they say, I hate your fragrance, or if they say they love it, I always react the same way. Thank you. Like, I don't make a big deal of it. Usually I try and say thank you and move on because I don't really give a shit. You know what I mean? But sometimes they're like waiting for me to say more. Like the other day when I wore that Bodicea the Victorious fragrance, which I did the video on. I said it was good. What was it called? Neymar. And I went to go get a haircut. And not my hairdresser, but one of the girls that, you know, I had to go past to get to mine. She's like, oh my God, that's the best smell I've ever smelled in my life. And I was like, great, thank you. And she's like, will you tell me what it is? And I'm like, you're not going to know what it is. She's like, come on, please, I want to buy it. And I was like, you're not going to want to buy this. She's like, why? I was like, it's like a $500 fragrance. And she's like, oh, well, what's it called? And I was like, Bodicea the Victorious. And she was like, huh? I was like, it's Bodicea the Victorious Neymar. It's an English house. Now, if you will, please, I got to go get my haircut. Silver Oud is pretty good. I like it. I like Silver Oud. Mike V should write the blurbs. Mike, create a book. Writing fake blurbs. Let's do a co-authored book here. You and me, combined forces, will write fake blurbs for scents and put them out. It'll be like the comical guide to perfumery. Huh? What do you think? Never been done. I bet you it would sell. Yes, the air that is pumped into your helmet on the space shuttle is straight Akigala wood. A dark, powdery scent like Max Forte's hair dye made its way into Jeremy's nasal cavity. Oh, God. Oh, man. I know I'm behind on the comments, but yes, exactly. Give me a hug, Rich. Come on. Bring it in. Bring it in, bro. Give me a hug. We were very lucky. We were extremely lucky. Yes, extremely lucky. Penombre is by a brand called Motif Olfactif. And I will tell you that the oud in here is slightly animalic, enough where I like it. There's also Hyrax. There's Hyraceum in here. But again, you know me. I wish the animalics was amped up. I wish the oud was more oudy, more barnyardy. It's there. It's just not super amped up. And but it's very wearable. There's like this ambery, slightly fruity, background at play. Very wearable oud. I liked it. Oh, if you're a vintage lover, Macassar is a must. I love finding treasures like this. Aye, aye, Capitan. Hope you enjoy it. Is the current Epic Woman with the magnetic cap worth a buy? So that's the thing, the G, is I have the older version, which is Oman Perfumery LLC, right there. The newer bottles say like SAOC, Amouage SAOC. So even though this is a magnetic cap, this isn't technically an older version. And I don't know if there have been reforms between then and now and then. So I can't speak to that. But I did do a comparison between this and Epic 56 if you want to check it out. All right, let's catch up on the comments and then we will. Bellam, what do you make of it, Ringo? What do you make of it? Very curious about the new Amouage. You already ever thought about it? Well, the first 45 minutes were just us BSing. The next 45 minutes or between 45 minutes and now, the next 50 minutes have been us going through the first two, which are put in the masculine bottles. One is called Search and one is Purpose. And Search is much more mainstream, although it is getting a little smoky. I like that smoky vetiver dry down, but the opening is very peppery, frankincense, very mainstream scent to me. Purpose is a Quentin Bisch through and through. It's like Amouage does Ganymede. And that's basically it. It's not really even exciting. It's just Amouage does Ganymede, just a shitload of Akigala wood. Reading the blurbs has actually probably been the most fun part of this. On a scale of 1 to 10, how animalic is Goldman Overture Man? Goldman is way more animalic than Overture Man, Terry. Overture Man is one of the best cognac fragrances in the game, to me. There is an animalic note in Overture Man, but I think Goldman is more challenging, let's say. Overture feels, Overture's the kind of thing I would want to wear on a cold day. Like, that's the kind of fragrance I want to reach for. If I'm not wearing a vintage, I'm not wearing Antaeus, vintage Antaeus or Bel Ami, I want to wear stuff like Overture. I don't want to wear stuff like Purpose. It's way too modern. I could totally see women ending up loving this smell on a man, this Purpose Ganymede, Akigala wood, because it smells so modern. It smells like you're a guy that goes home to like a glass mansion. You know what I mean? You don't just have a normal house. You have a glass mansion. You drive a Tesla. You're a modern man. What do modern men do? Hell, I don't fucking know. But whatever they do, it smells like they're wearing Purpose or Ganymede. Blue Sapphire. Yes, someone told me about Blue Sapphire. That's it, Justin. We're glad to have you. Overture Man, very noble, based on Murray. Yes, that's right, Ringo. Can't do anything but wearing it to bed at the moment. Guilty pleasure. Why can't you do anything but wear it to bed? Hell, wear that shit to work, bro. What's up, Abe? Good to see you, man. All right, we're caught up on the comments. Let's hit number 3. Now, number 3 and number 4 switch to the women's bottles. So they don't market these as anything other than unisex anymore, but we're now switching to the women's bottles, or traditionally what Amouage used to put the women's bottles in. And so this one's called Lineage. Lineage is done by Karine Vinchon-Spehner, who's done 2 or 3 or 4 of actually my favorite Amouages. Karine Vinchon-Spehner did Memoir Man, she did Myths Man, she did Fate Man, she did Boundless, and she did Overture Man. Okay, so 5 Amouages that I have full bottles of. She also did Interlude Woman, which I've never smelled, and Figment Woman, which I've never smelled, and Opus 3, which I've never smelled. And she did that Brioni perfume that Max Forte was hyping the shit out of over the last couple of years, but I've never smelled that either. So let's see what Lineage is. Basically, she's a perfumer I really trust, and I like her work. Even her worst work, which I think was Boundless for me, is still better than most other perfumers. So I'm very excited to try Lineage. Let's get this on skin. Wow, that opens up very white floral. Very white floral. Just from the very first spray. I haven't even looked at the note listing. That is extremely white floral, though. Well, I got a hit of white floral when I first sprayed it, but I'm not getting it anymore. It seems to have completely disappeared. What the hell am I smelling? I think this is the most traditionally feminine by far. You know what this smells like? It smells like modern Japanese perfume for women. I don't know why. That's what popped into my head. Like maybe it's the color coding, like that mint green. This is very strange. So here's the note listing: ginger, Sichuan pepper, Peruvian pepper tree, saffron, frankincense, fenugreek, myrrh, more frankincense, more myrrh, vetiver, patchouli, benzoin, and labdanum. Um, so let's see what Amouage has to say about it. Lineage. Oh God, we're starting out strong already. The title, The Mineral Shores of Masara. This might be the most interesting so far. I don't know if I would enjoy wearing this yet. I think this is the most interesting so far, just by like creativity wise. Let's see what the bullshit non-English speaking brief writers decided to say about this. A dream of far away, sun-drenched horizons, empty lands, the mineral tang of Sichuan pepper. I did not get Sichuan pepper, I'll tell you that. I got a lot of Sichuan pepper in this. This is a Sichuan pepper bomb, Journeyman. This is one of the best Sichuan pepper fragrances. Yeah, that smells like Sichuan pepper. I'm not getting Sichuan pepper from that. I'm sorry. But, you know, there's another fragrance I wore recently that has an amazing Sichuan pepper note. That is Tom Ford's Noir Anthracite. If you ever smelled that discontinued gem or you find a bottle cheap, grab it. Sichuan pepper note in that is stunning. I'm not getting Sichuan pepper here, but they say Sichuan pepper. the pulsing radiance of ginger, and a whiff of sea spray, just a little sea spray, that altogether smell like the promise of breaking free from the world. On a desert island wrought of golden myrrh and frankincense, a silhouette lies beneath the sun, beneath the sky. A waft of suntan skin catches you unaware. A waft of suntan skin catches you unaware. Were they drunk when they wrote this? Or they don't speak English, do they? A waft of suntan skin catches you unaware. So you're looking one way, and all of a sudden, suntan skin just catches you unaware. Oh, hi, suntan skin. A whiff of fenugreek, like maple sweet. Okay, this is the sentence. A waft of suntan skin catches you unaware, comma, a whiff of fenugreek, comma, like maple sweet, comma, more gourmand than summer. What the fuck does that even mean? More gourmand than summer. Am I the only one who has a problem with this? This is a $360 fragrance they're trying to sell to people. This doesn't even speak English. Go to amouage.com and read it for yourself if you think I'm bullshitting you. The sentence, a waft of suntan skin catches you unaware. A whiff of fenugreek, like maple sweet. More gourmand than summer. What the fuck is that? A song of salty incense, of mineral warmth and summer meditations. Lineage is the scent of traveling far from home to get closer to yourself. I don't know, man. I have no idea what the fuck Amouage is talking about. That sounds like how I usually respond to Amouage now. What the fuck are they talking about? But I can tell you the frankincense is starting to come out, and I can tell you that as far as just like straight up composition wise, I don't think I would wear this, but I think this would smell amazing on a woman. And I'm actually really interested to see the dry down, because that frankincense is starting to come out with that resinous myrrh. And, you know, the top is very strange. I don't think I've ever smelled a top that smells like this. It smells very Japanese somehow. I did get a little bit of pepper finally. The top smelled really like a strange white floral concoction. And then it turned, I don't know what Peruvian pepper tree smells like is the problem. And, but I didn't get a traditional saffron feel. But maybe now that it's starting to dry, it's this weird combination between ginger, Sichuan pepper, Peruvian pepper tree, whatever that smells like, and saffron. Now it's starting to smell more traditional frankincense and myrrh, but there's something that is very traditionally feminine to this for some reason. And I thought it was flowers, but they're not listing any. I don't know what is giving it that traditional feminine vibe, but I mean, I like it. I like the fragrance. I just think it's a bit too feminine for my taste. Bellam, first sniff of very layered and good quality notes. Extremely good quality. I said that in my first impression, or my early impression. Yes, Chanel came in mind. You know what I ended up buying, Ringo? I don't know if I told you guys. Well, I know I told the channel, but maybe you weren't here when I told you. But after sniffing Bellam, I decided I did want to buy an Iris fragrance, but I didn't buy Bellam. I ended up buying 31 Rue Cambon. Just because, number one, I got a very fair deal on this from Bry. So thank you, Bry. And number two, it's just the Iris in 31 Rue Cambon is stunning. But it really shines on the dry down, surprisingly open. Then you really feel deep kindness. Do you get a salty vibe from it, Ringo? Just curious. I mean, I think Antoine Lee's I think he's a master perfumer. I think he's one of the best perfumers in the game doing it right now. And I think Le de l'Exquise was the release of 2022. And I have a feeling, or I'm hoping, that the number 3, Descendres, is the release of 2023 because I'm pulling for Antoine Lee and Eugene. And the fact that he said it's a masculine sheeper really gets, I cannot wait to smell that. But, you know, for me, I just thought, other than Belle Âme, I thought I would enjoy this more personally. That's just as someone with a limited budget, if money is no issue, buy everything. But I just decided to go with 31 Rue Cambon. Can't possibly have my head chewed right. You talking about me? I didn't mean to chew your head off. If I came off that way, I'm sorry. I'm getting to the blurb. I see. Was that the worst blurb you've ever heard? Can you think of a worse blurb, please? Somebody tell me. Yeah. Ajmal got some Atars too. I've never smelled Ajmal, so I've never smelled very many Atars at all. I'd like to smell some Sultan Pasha Atars from the way that people talk about him and his Atars. This lineage is very strange. You know, that minty green color of the bottle actually might be a good color now that I smell the fragrance. I still hate the first two. I hate that. I hate that. That weird teal thing they did with Search, and I don't like the weird hunter green for Purpose. But this minty the minty vibe goes with the minty look of the bottle goes with Lineage very well. Surprisingly, also, it's a real kindness that could be communicated around you. Belle Âme is really working as a name, but only if you experience it. Yeah, agreed. Agreed, Ringo. Amouage writers writing shites in English Shakespeare, to buy or not to buy. The question is answered. More gourmand than summer is the next fragrance, more fresh than winter. So pumped for Eugene's third release. I have a feeling it'll be the best of the week. Man, that is a huge statement because La de l'Exquise might be the best rose patchouli of all time, dude. I mean, just objectively, forget about it's Eugene and Antoine Lee, but just objectively for my taste personally, objectively and personally, I think it's the best rose patchouli. Dude, the write-ups are unbelievable. I mean, how can a niche brand with that much revenue coming in allow this? This is embarrassing. Even if they go in there and fix it, this stream will be up forever, unless my YouTube gets hacked and they take it down. If my YouTube gets hacked, I'm coming for you, Amouage. But yes, I mean, it's very embarrassing. All right, let's try this guidance that I heard is the beast of the bunch. So apparently Guidance was also a Quentin Bisch. Oh God, is this going to be a Akigala wood bomb as well? Pear, frankincense, hazelnut, saffron, rose, jasmine sambac, osmanthus, cistus, sandalwood, ambergris, vanilla, and Akigala wood. All right, here we go. So this is Guidance. Guidance. Here we go. Oh boy. Please like it. The opening is good. The opening is easier for me to digest than Lineage. Lineage is just very strange. Extreme, one of the strangest fragrances I've smelled in a long time, and that's going up against Quentin Bisch creations. Lineage is really out there. Guidance is good. I like the opening. I usually hate hazelnut in a composition. Hazelnut is not my thing. I am not a thanks, Chad. Appreciate that. I was worried you were kind of upset about what I was saying about Insar earlier, but so hazelnut always reminds me of like those hazelnut coffees that you get from those machines, you know, and I never liked that smell. This is actually very good. Um he's clearly toned down the Akigala wood scent profile. Purpose is just an Akigala wood bomb. He's toned it down in guidance. This would smell stunning on a beautiful woman. Guidance would smell absolutely gorgeous. Pear, frankincense, hazelnut, saffron, rose, jasmine, sambac. The florals are coming through too. And it's got my favorite. Every time I see osmanthus, I like the damn fragrance. I love osmanthus as a note. It just adds that floral, peachy, nectarine, you know, somewhat, maybe not just straight up leathery, but maybe suede-like is what I think osmanthus comes across as, and slightly animalic. Yes, Amouage Lost in Translation is their next fragrance for sure. That is a possibility, Ajay. But to be fair, if you're a brand of that size, you should make sure that it translates properly. I mean, that's unacceptable. You know, this is 2023. Uh, they made billions of dollars last quarter. Forget last year. I think they're bringing in big funds. If I saw properly, maybe I'm mistaken then with a different company. But Rich Mitch sent me an article that said they had their best quarter ever last quarter. So they should not be allowing stuff like this to happen. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Hey, Germs, what's happening, man? On the flip side, zoologist has wonderful little stories to introduce their offerings. They paint a picture and set the mood. Yep, exactly. I like zoologist. Don't pull back. You say what's in your heart. Thank you. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Brilliant marketing, even if you don't enjoy the juicy plants to see. What? The fact that it's so terrible. So guidance is good. I'll tell you that right now. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pick a favorite. I don't think I really like any of them. Search is the most wearable, but I'm liking what it's doing in the dry down. Ah, you must not have been here for my scent of the day. My scent of the day was Egoïste Cologne Concentrée. My new favorite version of Egoïste. Maybe they should team up. A Navitus Amouage, you know, duo fragrance. Ramblings by Amouage. Yeah, man. Let's read what they have to say about guidance. I can tell you I'm impressed with guidance. Guidance is the first one where I can honestly just step back and say I'm impressed with. Lineage is weird. I appreciate it. I'm starting to get more of the frankincense. I bet you it might be beautiful in the dry down. That first hour on your skin is very unique, okay? Unique in a way I can't really put my finger on. It almost has a strange greenness to it. I don't think I've ever smelled a greenness like this. It's very weird. Guidance is good. Guidance is good. I can tell you that right now. Guidance is a good fragrance. Would I buy it? I don't know, because it has that, I would say maybe traditionally feminine. It's a little more traditionally feminine, not as traditionally feminine as I think Lineage was when I first smelled it. I think Lineage is still probably the most traditionally feminine by standards. I'm liking Guidance. That's a very interesting use of hazelnut. I think this would be maybe the best received by just a modern woman who isn't like a huge frag head. They just want something next level up from your average, run of the mill mall fragrance. I'm very curious about that cystis in the dry down. If this gets kind of like resinous and ambergris adds that, sparkle, this is going to be really good. Guidance is alike, although it is sweet. I think it's too sweet for me to wear, but I can see the appeal in something like Guidance. Lineage still is not giving up the ghost. I'm sorry, Purpose is not giving up the ghost on that Akigala wood, man. It is strong. I wish more of that smoky papyrus and vetiver and suede would come out. Maybe in the late dry down, but man, that Akigala wood is strong. All right, let's see what Amouage has to say about this final one. Guidance. Are they going to get their English right? All right, here we go. The delicate strength of femininity. Okay, a better start so far. An ivory tower wreathed in sheds of clouds, dewy mists of fragile pear, inviting almond milk, and beads of frankincense draw the outlines of a dreamful haven. A princess whispers you in and leads the way to a lush garden where osmanthus blossoms diffuse their heady apricot scent. I understand what they're saying. I don't like the way they're saying it, but at least I understand what they're saying about this one. A fountain gleams in the center, its marble edge covered in scarlet roses whose voluptuous scent meets that of leathery saffron, threads laid on the floor. Labdanum. This was one giant run-on sentence, by the way. Through jasmine screams, sultry and spent, the woman walks, and there. Hang on, let me back up. A princess whispers you in and leads the way to a lush garden where osmanthus blossoms diffuse their heady apricot scent. A fountain gleams in the center, its marble edge covered in scarlet roses whose voluptuous scent meets that of leathery saffron threads laid on the floor. Through jasmine screens, sultry and spent screens, the woman walks, and there comes with her a scent of dark vanilla and skin-like sandalwood, of ambery labdanum, and purring hints of regal ambergris. Who are you? She asks, and you feel seen. Just what I always want when a beautiful woman pops through a sultry screen of jasmine. I just want to be seen. A spellbinding and novel interpretation of the Amouage triad of rose, frankincense, and ambergris. Guidance reads like a poem, smells like an embrace, and feels like a word of wisdom. Strong finish there. They started to lose me a little bit in the middle. This is very good, though. Forgetting about the fact it's in a feminine bottle, Guidance is very good. I think Purpose is the biggest beast mode of the bunch, though. I'll tell you that, because of that Akigala wood overdose. But Lineage is no slouch, man. Lineage, you know what it smells like? It smells like you're smelling like this green plant I've never smelled before. And when you cut into it, there's like this milky substance, okay? You ever cut into like a milkweed, and inside of the weed is like that milky stuff that kind of runs down? Imagine that, but with something very sharp. There's something not unsettling to the nose about Lineage, whereas Guidance, I think Guidance will be much more received. It's not as daring as Lineage, but this is instantly more likable, but it's not boring. Guidance has that twist of hazelnut, which normally I hate. Hazelnut and pear are two very interesting top notes, and it seems to be drawing more into this more traditional saffron, osmanthus, cistus labdanum, like Middle Eastern style fragrance. The frankincense is maybe the most muted in Guidance because the other notes are amped up a little bit more, but it's good. Guidance is good. I wish they gave the notes. I don't see where they list these specific frankincense, Rachel. I would love to know where I could learn about each one of these different types of frankincense they highlighted, like you said. Oh, so cheesy. So cheesy. They were bad. I mean, we almost might need to do a top worst write-up list of 2023 coming soon because these were terrible. Absolutely awful. A waft of suntan skin catches you unaware. God help us. Quentin, unquenched Bisch. Yeah, Purpose is maybe the most modern. If you want to smell like a modern man, Purpose is your fragrance. Although I think Search is maybe my favorite from the masculine line because it is a little, I don't know, man. I'm torn. I don't know what to think about these, to be honest with you. Unfortunately, they're not the Amouage that I love, and that's exactly what I expected from the house. Now, I expected to be a little disappointed, which of course I am. I don't think any of them are bad fragrances per se. Purpose is definitely the most modern. I'll tell you that right now. You know, if you're looking to stand out to maybe the women, like in a modern, you want to present yourself as this modern man, hip with the times, that kind of thing, which I could give two shits about. I'll wear the vintage stuff all day. Then Purpose is your fragrance. I don't know if I can get on with that overdose of Akigala wood. I do think I like this a little bit better than Ganymede. How's that? That's the biggest compliment I can give these fragrances. Is I think I like Purpose. I think I like Purpose a little bit more than Ganymede. Actually, there's a comparison video for you guys. How about Purpose versus Ganymede compared? I like how Search is getting more smoky, but I don't think I'm liking what it's turning into now that it is smoky, if that makes sense. I think I liked that more friendly opening with the Omani green frankincense. The frankincense stood out more as being green. Now it just kind of feels like it's devolving into that cade oil, which, by the way, cade oil was a very important ingredient in Amouage Portrayal Man, which this is an amazing fragrance too. No one talks about. This is so good. I mean, if you love Fahrenheit, you have to try this. This is a must. Don't even argue with me. Just go get yourself a sample of Portrayal Man. Look at the dent I put in this. The juice is right here. I have worn the piss out of Portrayal Man. It's so good though. Vetiver and that cade oil and that there's a very gasoline-like opening. If you like the gasoline opening of Fahrenheit by Dior, you have to try this. This is like a niche Fahrenheit Portrayal. Amazing, amazing stuff. So I can get excited about, you know, old Amouage. It's very hard to get excited about new. Although I'm digging Guidance. I'm digging Guidance for sure. Yep, I've never smelled either of those, Micah, but they're on my list. Between you mean Egoïste, Cologne Concentrée, and Bois de Zille? Yes, sort of. But honestly, and I know this might sound blasphemous to many, and I do think this is my favorite Egoïste, I still think Bois de Zille is the best sandalwood that Chanel put out. Just one man's opinion. Just if you're just taking it as far as like a sandalwood scent, I know Egoïste does so much more with the tobacco and the leather and the rosewood and all that other stuff that it does. The coriander and the mahogany wood and the cinnamon and all the stuff that Egoïste does. But I think Bois de Zille highlights what sandalwood should be better, in my opinion. It is very complex. Yeah, it really is. You get tobacco, you get peach, nectarine, the suede, and there's an animalic side to osmanthus too. I found I really like osmanthus, really like it. Guidance is very good, although the hazelnut note is starting to come on really strong now. I think if someone smelled this and they didn't know it was hazelnut, they might still enjoy it, but as soon as you know it's hazelnut, for me, it kills it because I don't really like hazelnut. And that's all my nose keeps trying to kind of go back to, but it's a very well done fragrance. I think this will be the star of the two woman releases, and I think that Purpose, that Akigala Overdose, that very modern fragrance, will be the star of the men's. Search is I just think Search is a designer scent that kind of goes smoky in the dry down, and Lineage is the weirdest of all of them. Lineage is so strange. It smells like a Japanese fragrance for some reason to me. I don't know why. Maybe it's the color combination. I'm getting this Japanese. I don't know what it is, but there's this. It reminds me of a Japanese fragrance. Instead of buying stocks for One Children by Overture Man early, I'm just throwing away. Yes, I have the original release. My Overture Man bottle actually came from Harrods. I had it shipped from Harrods. So I actually had this. I had this scent from Harrods, and you can see, well, first of all, you can see the dent I put in it. I love this shit. And second of all, you can tell it's one of the first runs because it says Overture on the side. Now it says it down here. And I have no clue if there's any difference. All I know is I love this shit. Oh my God. I need to wear that soon. This makes me want to wear this tomorrow. Oh. But look at the bottle. I mean, look how classy that bottle looks. And then go to amouage.com and look at the new bottles, or go to Parfumo and look at the new bottles and tell me that the new bottles look like shit compared to this. Just one man's opinion. Don't shoot the messenger. You may love the new stuff and hate the old. But for me, man, there's just and look at this. It's like if you twist it, you kind of get this curtain falling. You get this change in, look at that. Look at the detail, the time they put into that. The curtains opening, closing. I love it. I love Christopher Chong, man. And I really want to smell his new one for Thameen. Now that he's the creative director of Thameen, I want to smell his new work. Oh man, I mean, dude, you're asking. I mean, all of them. You need to try all of them. Myths is absolutely amazing. Myths is one of the most unique fragrances I've ever smelled. This is one of the few bottles in my collection. There's only a handful of them. Rose and Queer is another one that I wish I had 100 mils instead of 50 mils. Like usually I'm like, shit, I don't need 100 mils. 50 mils is enough. Oh, Myths, man, is so unique and complex, and it's got that ashiness in the dry down. Not frankincense. This is ash. This is volcanic ash. And that elemi. And there's a liqueur note in here too. I can't remember what the liqueur is. Maybe brandy or something, or rum or something like that. Let's see if they did write-ups on. You think they screwed write-ups on these old Amouages up as well? Let's see. Let's see what they have to say. All right, what do they say about myths? Where is myths? Would they bury it on here? They did. They buried it at the very end. The only one deeper in the website is Figment. Okay, a tribute to elegance. In the early hours of dusk, the green and honeyed fragrance of the sacred chrysanthemum sings, alone, wilting its petals in the opulence shimmer of a bed of irises. In the opaque midnight blue, screams the scarlet light of pyre where vetiver and elemi are set ablaze, their smoke running through the silent alleys of a field of prickly roses, mineral woods, tan leather, and animalic labdanum. Definitely animalic labdanum. The pastel dawn arises, and the dew enshrouds the last glowing embers of the brazier, leaving the hollowed and ambery fragrance of cold ash floating in the crisp morning air. The meeting of dream and ecstasy. Mythsman is a hypnotic mirage of leather and wood, bringing alive lucid dreams whence myths come from. Well, that's at least better. The person sounds like they spoke English. And you can see the dent that I put in this one too. I don't know if you can see, but the juice is like right here. And fuck, I love this stuff, man. Myths is so, this is a fragrance for fragrance lovers. If you do not love perfume for the art of perfume, you're going to hate this. I'm telling you, you're going to spray it and go, what the hell is this? But if you give it a chance, you will love it. I promise you'll fall in love with it. Bracken is probably one of the best modern fougères. There's a huge clove note in the opening, huge clove. But as far as like a traditional fougère, amazing. It doesn't smell as much like an Amouage. It just smells like an extremely competent modern take on a fougère. And Memoir is probably the most Amouage of the bunch. It's like green woods. It's like being in a Dr. Seuss book. The woods are, vibrant and green and slightly challenging. Memoir, if I recall from memory, Memoir has this absinthe note, this green. It's extremely green, but it's also a lavender fragrance. So it's lavender, absinthe, frankincense, but it's the dry down. You get this leathery tobacco and one of the most beautiful sandalwood notes I think I've ever seen Amouage use. Unfortunately, I only have a tester. So my bottle's kind of ugly because it literally says tester, but it's an older bottle. It's made in Oman. It doesn't have a cap, but and you can see the dent I've put in this one. Look at this. The juice is right here. So that's a hell of a dent when you have a collection my size. I love this stuff, man. It's woody, spicy, green. Again, challenging. This is going to challenge you. These two will challenge you. These are what Amouage is made of for me. Stuff like this. And I wish I could eat a mushroom and supersize this bottle to 100 ml, but I'm happy. I'm just happy to have the old juice, that says it on the side. I'm just happy. These testers, these old testers, they didn't write anything on the side or here. There was no collar even because there was no magnetic cap. So you can see the collar where the magnetic cap kind of sits on. There's no collar on the testers. So, yes, I guess that's our little Amouage live stream. Let's catch up on the comments and we'll call it a day. 2 hours and 20 minutes is pretty good. Yeah, it's kind of what I expected. Portrayal Petroleum, that's right. Amazing petroleum. Yeah, you're right. Modern times do suck. But you know what? This was 2018 or whatever it was, 2019, and this is amazing. I think it's just I think it's just the way things have gone. You know, this is the last great Amouage to me. Overture, man. It's the last great Amouage. And this is one of my favorite boozy fragrances of all time. God. Oh man, the opening of Overture Man is stunning. The opening of many of these Amouages are stunning. Memoir and Mists are good if you want something unique. Mists, extremely non-linear. It's a bit of a trip. It is. Memoir is also very different. Makes me think of old forest magic. I think of old, weird foresty stuff too. Literature teacher background. Yes, Portrayal Man is one of my favorites. For me, it's a scent of culture, books, art museum like Chanel 1957. You know, it's an interesting take because they compared this to the bohemian culture of the 1920s. And I don't really understand that, but I love the scent. You know what's funny is when I got it, I didn't love it. I was like, what the hell is this? Like, this is not an Amouage. This smells like a smoky vetiver gasoline. I was like, this is an 80s fragrance in a niche bottle. This is not an Amouage. And then the more I wore it and that smoky cade oil comes out in the dry down, the more I fell in love with this. I mean, this is a fragrance that I had to kind of come around on. And sometimes I have this habit of saving the things I love and never wearing them and wearing the ones that I don't really like as much. So when I got this, I was like, I'm just going to keep wearing this because I'm not understanding it. Like, I know I love Jubilation. I know I love Epic Man. I know and they just sat there and I just wore this until I got it. Like the switch flipped and I just fell in love with it. Oh, and love it. I absolutely do. And how about the presentation? Speaking of awesome presentations, you can't really tell from the camera. And I know I've got the shitty vertical camera, but this is like a gunmetal cap, and it stands out when you compare it to the silver caps that Amouage does. But the gunmetal with that, one of the most gorgeous bottles. I mean, the reflection, the bottle is just a work of art. So that is so good. I love Portrayal. I love old Amouage. So I'm a little disappointed with new Amouage, although reading the blurbs was funny. And I think the two in the masculine bottle are okay. I mean, but I don't expect, I wish they would stop doing, like, why do you have to do two? Why? Why do you have to do two masculines? Just do one and make it amazing. Make it, compete with Jubilation 25. Make it one of the best Amouages of all time. Put the best of everything in there. You're Amouage. Why do you have to release two, hoping some schmuck buys one? Just release one, and we will talk about it if it's amazing. It's just the modern times, I guess. It really is. It's Reflection Man's very good. Yep. Agreed. Completely. I don't think there's any osmanthus in Sunshine Man. Is there? I think Sunshine has Immortelle. I think you're probably thinking of Immortelle. There's a beautiful Immortelle note in Sunshine Man. Yeah, there's no osmanthus in Sunshine, Damon. There's lavender, orange brandy, everlasting flower, which is immortelle, bergamot, clary sage, juniper, tonka, vanilla, and cedarwood. But that's a beautiful one too. Yep, agree. 100% agree. If anyone knows of better cognac fragrances, do let me know. But I haven't found them yet. Yep, leathery ash, spot on. Yeah, man. I'm a huge Christopher Chong fan. In fact, if any brand was going to send me a full bottle, I'd want a full bottle of that Thémine over any of these freaking Amouages. And that goes to show. Um, yeah, right. That'll be the day. Um, no, I would never abandon Russian Hood, man. I love Opus 6, yes. Opus 6 was, I think, Pierre Negrin and Alberto Morillas' take on making a fragrance without using any oud. So a lot of Cypriol in that. It's one of the best Cypriol fragrances. Yeah, it's amazing. I love it. Yeah, yeah, man. To me, that Russian oud is priceless. I don't even think if someone offered me 10 grand, I would sell it. I have not tried Overture Women. There's a lot of the women's versions that I have not tried that I want to, but I just haven't. Yes, they're modernizing. You're exactly right. They're trying to catch up with the hype. Yep, old Amouage, man. Old Amouage. Ooh, I gotta think about that, man. That is, I can't answer that. Maybe I'll do a video on that. That's a good video, Saeed. All right, I gotta go eat some dinner because I haven't eaten since I got off work, so we're keeping it under 2.5 hours. Just a quick stream. So thanks to everyone for joining. If you guys get a chance to smell the new Amouages, do report back, leave a comment, let me know what you think. I would love to know if you guys feel the same way that I do about him. If one of them ends up catching your heart, um, if it's just what it is. So it is what it is. I mean, maybe this is just the way Amouage is going, and we have to accept it. I won't accept it lightly because they're one of my favorite houses, and I hate seeing them where they're at when they didn't have to do that. But it is what it is. So thanks to everyone who's been watching, joining, commenting, being here. Thank you to all the regulars. Thank you to the community for supporting me. I very much appreciate it. And you guys say you enjoy these live streams, so we're going to try to do them more. And so you guys have a good evening. Cheers. I hope we see you tomorrow. Another video. Bye, guys.